Welcome to Cheatlogue, where real lives. Bleed onto the page and raw emotions command the spotlight. Tonight's tale isn't only about betrayal, it's about the silent storm that bruises when trust collapses and affection curdles into. Oh, what would you do if a single object in your partner's bag changed everything? Stay close because this one will leave you shaken. I remember that night with unsettling clarity, the soft kitchen glow bouncing off the dark windows, the faint trace of her perfume still hanging in the air, and the silence of a house that suddenly didn't feel like rain. I hadn't been searching, wasn't snooping. I only wanted her car keys. But when my hand slipped into her purse, my fingers touched something that didn't belong. A small, discreet bottle branded for men lubricant. For a moment I stood frozen, my pulse hammering like a war drum in my chest. The air seemed to thicken, the walls pressing inward, the familiar comfort of our home souring in an instant. Why was this here? Turned it over in my hands, desperate for a rational explanation. Silly prank, a mistake. Maybe she had bought it for us. But no, we hadn't been close in months. Lately, every night she came home, exhausted, detached. Work is insane, she'd murmur, brushing past me with a cheek kiss that felt like duty, not desire. That was when something inside me snapped. Not with noise, not with rage, but a quiet fracture, like a thread that had been stretched too thin. Didn't confront her. Not then. Wasn't ready for lies, or worse, her truth. Set the bottle back, wiped away my prints, and moved through the evening as though nothing had happened. The days that followed were a performance. Smiled when she smiled, laughed at her jokes, nodded at her stories, but inside, my thoughts churned like a storm. Glance at her ignited 1,000 doubts. She began going out more, late meetings, I claimed. Sometimes she came home smelling faintly of a man's cologne. Other times she went straight to the shower before speaking to me. Her phone, once tossed carelessly on the table, now never left her side. And intimacy, it wasn't just missing, it was erased as if it had never existed. One night I woke at 2 a.m. to find her in the hall, the glow of her phone lighting her face. When she spotted me, she startled like a child caught stealing. "Can't sleep," she muttered, sliding the phone into her. "Whoa, just emails." I nodded, said nothing, but inside something shifted. A week later, that same bottle appeared in my hands again. She was in the shower when I found it, water rushing like a distant storm, and a cold, deliberate thought slid into me. I didn't want to scream. I didn't want to plead for answers I'd never get. I wanted truth. I emptied it down the sink, rinsed it clean, and filled it with industrial superglue from the garage. The label peeled under my grip, but I smoothed it back, heart pounding. Then I placed it in her bag, exactly as I'd found it. This wasn't revenge. Not yet. It was a test. If she was innocent, nothing would happen. If not, truth reveals itself. That weekend, she claimed she had a team retreat. 2 days, no phones, no outside contact. I kissed her goodbye, smiling so warmly she didn't notice the ice in my eyes. The house was unbearable without her. I drifted through it like a ghost, touching the empty side of our bed, staring at family photos that suddenly looked staged. On the second night, past midnight, a message arrived from an unknown account. No text, just a photo. Her half-dressed, laughing. A man's hand around her waist, not mine. My stomach knotted, my fingers went numb. Proof. She had brought that bottle. The next evening she came home limping. He noticed at once the stiffness, the forced smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Long trip?" I asked lightly, helping with her bags. Yeah, she sighed, dropping her coat. Exhausting. I need a shower. Said. Nothing. Not about the picture, not about the bottle. I just watched her vanish into the bathroom, steam spilling from the door. That night she turned her back to me, phone clutched under her pillow while I lay staring at the ceiling, calm and empty. In the days after, she grew restless, irritable. Rushed out often, her discomfort visible in every step. One evening I saw her whispering furiously on the phone in the yard. When she spotted me, she snapped it. Who was that? Asked. Just a friend. She shot back too fast. Only. Frog. You seem tense. You snap. Again. I'm fine. Why are you watching me? And she was right, I was. 2 weeks later, her lover showed up. Simon, coworker. I was in the garage when the doorbell rang. I peeked out just in time to hear their hushed words on the porch. He looked desperate. She looked afraid. And then I heard it, the line that sealed everything. You didn't tell me it was glued, he hissed. She slapped a hand over his mouth, glancing around. Bitter laugh escaped me. So it worked. At night I confronted her. She was at the table scrolling her phone when I set the tea bottle down. She froze, knuckles white, lips parted with no sound. Want to tell me what this is? Asked softly. Her eyes darted to mine, searching for mercy. It's not what you think, she whispered. Really? I leaned closer. Because what I think is you've been lying, sneaking, sharing yourself with someone else when you stopped sharing with me months ago. Tears pooled. It was a mistake, she choked. I didn't mean for it. I laughed. Not from humor, but disbelief. Didn't mean it. You kept it in your bag. You planned it. You gave him what belonged to me. She reached out, but I stepped back. You glued it, she murmured, realization dawning. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. The days after, blurred with arguments, silence, broken trust. She begged, promised it was over, called it weakness. But betrayal isn't weakness, it's a string of choices. And I couldn't erase those choices. Filed for divorce quietly, just as I had replaced that bottle without warning. Within a month she was gone. The house left behind felt less like home, more like a crime scene. Sometimes at night I think about that bottle, the way she froze at the sight of it, the way I felt, not triumphant, not vindicated, just hollow. Because revenge doesn't heal. Truth does. And the truth was we had ended long before that glue dried. Trust doesn't collapse in one blow. Crumbles slowly until nothing holds. I hadn't replaced the bottle out of cruelty. I did it to see her clearly. And when I did, I saw myself too. A man who deserved better than secrets, better than lies, better than being a prop in someone else's double life. Now I live alone. The house is quieter but honest. The air heavier but real. And that's worth more than any illusion. Betrayal doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, and when it does, it destroys more than hearts. It unravels the soul of a marriage. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. What would you have done in his place? Don't forget to subscribe to Breakup Cheater for more raw stories of love, loss, and the shadows we live with. Until next time, keep your eyes open, because sometimes truth hides in plain sight.